Well, I'm going to start. I mean, I loved the film. I interviewed Lily and Kate the other day for it as
Oh,
well.
wicked.
But I just wanted to, I mean, because I was looking across in preparation for this interview, I was like looking at your career and the kind of choices you make, and it's such an eclectic range of projects and roles. I always find it sort of dotted with such working with really great filmmakers, but every character feels a bit different to the last. I just wondered what kind of inspires your choices. What makes you think, right, that's one for me.
It just has to be something I've never even heard of before. I just need a proper surprise. Like, you know, every script that I read comes in the same format. It's a PDF. I find it very interesting the process by which like we receive these things. It's in email form. I see my agent's name and I see like, you know, self-tape, offer, whatever it might be. And then the name just in black capital letters. And you take something from that, then you open the email up and it says some more information, then you have the PDF and you open that up. And then, you know, everything kind of, all of these different kind of sensory things happen that inform you, that I kind of just let, I just kind of decipher with my instinct and with my gut rather than too much intelligence because I haven't got too much of that. And so it's basically like, listen to the instinct and say like, how does this feel? Does this feel like a surprise? Does this feel like something I've never seen before or had the chance to do before? And like, I really want to get better, man. I really want to learn and I want to grow. And to do that, I just need to do different, you know, different stuff and challenge myself. And I don't know, maybe like I have considered as well that part of it is like a deficiency in me that I get bored and that like I always want to do the opposite. I finish like even like I'm always like a week before I finish the film and I start thinking like, oh man, I need to do the opposite now. If I'm in America, I'm like, I need to get back to Europe, man. If I'm doing studios, I'm like, I need to get back to independent cinema and you know, and all of that. So yeah, I just kind of need a challenge. And I want to surprise you lot as well, because you know, ultimately no offense, but I do this for me, not so much for you lot. But I want you guys to be surprised, man. It's so like I hate the notion of like, well, I hate watching like boring actors that do the same thing every time. So I hate the idea that you guys would turn it on and see me, turn the telly on and see me, and be like, oh, I know exactly what this is. In fact, my favorite thing, which has happened quite a lot recently, is people saying, I didn't even realize it was you till halfway through. Or people saying to me afterwards, I didn't even know you're in that movie. Who were you? And I say, I was the bloody this person. They go, what? That was you. I say, yeah, go back and rewatch it. And you know, that's kind of what I'm aiming for.
Mm. That's about as good a compliment an actor can get, really. Not knowing, so if you can't tell you're in it,
Yeah.
yeah, to absorb yourself in the character that much, yeah.
Especially if they know you know, because a lot of the time I'm aware that like my friends and family, it's not that fun for them to watch my movies because it's distracting because it's me, you know. So every now and then they say to me, you know what? I forgot it was you. And I just got lost in it and I was crying, I was this or that. And I think, wow, that's kind of like the greatest compliment, you know?
Yeah, you're talking about sort of doing things that can sort of keep you sort of sort of a creatively sort of, I don't know, interested and surprise the audience. I mean, working with Ana Lily is always gonna do that. She's got such a unique mind and her films reflect that. I mean, I was even reading that there was like she had clown face paint on during the making of this. Like what sort of filmmaker was she to work? Because her films are so distinctive and the world she creates is so distinctive. Did it
Mm.
feel like when you step onto her set that you're stepping into one of her worlds, if that makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's psychedelic, man. Me and her went on a journey, and the journey didn't involve any plants. You know, it was my journey was entirely sober, man. I was with her the whole time. I didn't have one beer in New Orleans. I didn't have anything, and I was tripping like on creativity and her vibe and her coolness and how she just doesn't give a fuck, but she about anything except the story, you know, and the creativity is everything. And so, yeah, it was crazy. Like, you know, she's got little Benny, her dog, running around on set. She's got the boombox that sometimes she plays tunes while we're in acting in the scenes. Imagine that, like, you know, but the vibe is so strong. I don't think I've ever had a director create an energy and vibe like her, and all of the actors um, in the cast felt that. And I think all of us, if she picked up the phone, we'd all go running. Like I will run back to in a heartbeat. You know,
How did you avoid beers in New Orleans? Or those green, you know, those cocktails everyone's drinking, those big tall green ones. They're called, I don't know, some.
you know what? I'm a bit of a weirdo when I'm shooting. Some would say I'm a weirdo when I'm not shooting, but I'm definitely a weirdo when I'm shooting. That I get really disciplined, man, and I get really focused, and I kind of get lost in it, man. I get I don't do any like method stuff and carry it around with me in that sense. Um, but yeah, I just kind of switch into focus mode, um, stay relaxed in other ways, and I don't really like to imbalance myself. You know, what I could gain from going out and partying, I could lose more from the next day. Whereas, like I say, like the to be creative, to be an actor, to be being a character is to be like as present as I can ever be. I wish I was that present in my normal life, man. You know, you hit a flow state and all this crazy shit happens. Just like I say, it's psychedelic in itself. So I avoided beers by staying fucked up on the creativity. You know what I mean?
I love the look of your character. I'm just wondering because if you
Mm,
have you ever been like inspired by a character's sort of like the fashion sense of a character and taken things into your everyday life? Have you ever played a
mhm.
character? You know what? This looks quite good on me, or these tattoos look quite okay, or this hairstyle, and you've kind of, I don't know, adopted it as in everyday life at all.
It's really interesting. At the beginning, like I would think about things like that, and now I'm like, hell no. I'm like, Shakespeare said, "Know thyself," and like, I'm hitting 40 next year, dude. I'm a father of three. You know, I'm kind of like, I'm at that place now where like I know what I want to do, and I just want to get on with it. I want to be a great dad. I want to be a great actor, and transition into directing at some point, and that's it. Just be creative and be family. And so in terms of like my style, I'm like gone straight back to when I was 16 years old, and all I wear is like Nikes, tracksuits, Liverpool kits, and like baggy vests and t-shirts and like white vests. I'm like, I do not, my characters often look spectacular and cool and stylish, and I look like a 16-year-old from North London in 1999. You know what I mean? I'm yeah. So the answer is no, but that's the fun of it, to be fuzz, to have the amethyst earring and the schoolgirl's choker and the candy bracelet on my thing and the different rainbow laces and all the tattoos and all of that, all of the rings. Although a lot of those rings were mine, actually. So it's kind of like reversed, actually, rather. Um, but yeah, it Fuzz was also kind of based on one of my best friends, Ebo, and his style because he was the coolest motherfucker I ever knew. Um, and I was like, I've just been aware throughout our friendship that I could never, I'm just not as cool as him, and that's fine. And so for this, my challenge was like, all right, I'm gonna take a sprinkle of Ebo and try and take some of that cool and see if it rubs off, man. And yeah, well, I think you can tell I'm having a great time.
Yeah, you
You
can.
know,
It's funny you're
yeah,
saying about kind of like I went because I sort of would dress, so you can see I'm just wearing a sort of hoodie now and stuff. And then I went through this kind of phase in my sort of late 20s where I was trying to wear clothes that I thought were more adult. And I've just regressed back and just gone, do you know
yeah,
what? I just want to wear Air Forces, a nice Adidas hoodie.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It's the same thing with like even in the career and stuff. It's like you know, play the game, grow the hair, have a little actor's quiff, you know, shave the stubble off, wear shirts, pull your trousers up. And then it's like, once I've got in the door, I'm like, trousers are back down, tracksuit bottoms on. I'm going to go to meetings with like the biggest directors in the world wearing like tracksuits and Liverpool kits because I realized like what's interesting about us is our true tastes and passion and energies, and so yeah, I want to be myself.
Yeah, I'm quite similar. It's said to be a Spurs kit instead of a Liverpool kit, but
Oh,
but I was going to ask too, because I mean, because I recently watched I Used to Be Famous on Netflix, and I just thought it was such a lovely. So now I live in Peckham at the moment. I'm from North London, but I live in
oh,
Peckham at the
wicked.
moment. So it's great seeing my sort of the vibrancy of my local area come to life like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's just such a nice, uncynical story that we just don't see enough of these days. It looked like a really lovely shoot. It must be great to be part of films sometimes. You just put out into the world that they just sort of not preach, that sounds like the wrong word, but they just breed positivity like this film does.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. Like, to the bottom of my heart, I'm so proud of that movie. We put so much into it and we really cared. Like, when I do London stuff, I care in a different way. And I'm like scared for like people to get it wrong and to interpret it wrong, you know what I mean? And I need it to be right, man. I mean, I always need it to be right, but I don't know, there's something about London, I feel this real responsibility. And it feels so good, you know, the neurodiverse community worldwide and the reception around the world. It's just so positive, you know. And the thing is, like, that movie is a lot more like my kind of normal life and like me than I kind of play a lot of the time. I always play these like alpha males that are like always know what to say and got the smart answer. But in real life, I'm more like Vinny, mate. I'm like a dickhead who doesn't know what to say, like, and fumbling my words unless I've got a screenwriter writing it for me, and a hairstylist and a makeup artist and lighting and editor and, you know, theme music. So it was wonderful to be able to play that character, and also I, that's the first time since Ill Manners, which was my first ever movie. And even in Ill Manners, I kind of still changed my voice a bit. This is the first time I just spoke like me. In any movie I've ever done, I Used to Be Famous. I was like, you know what? I actually said to the director when I met him, I said, yeah, like I no, he listened to a podcast I did. And he said to me, you know what? I heard the podcast where you were saying to Seeper from People Just Do Nothing. I was saying to him, I just want to do a movie in my own accent, man. I want to rep us, rep London, and rep Peckham, and rep North, and you know what I mean? Rep the real London rather than The Crown or, you know, Guy Ritchie, or like, you know, Blue Story or whatever. So it was, and then he said to me, yeah, I heard you say that and I want you to do that. And I was like, oh my God. And that was the greatest privilege as well. And when I watched the movie and I hear me mumbling in local slang, I'm like, yes, I love that. I mean, they must need subtitles in America, but, you know, it's all good.
Brilliant. Well, Ed, it's always a pleasure to speak. I've run out of time.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Hopefully we'll catch up again soon, whatever the next one is.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I look forward to it, bro.
Yeah, cool. Right, take care. Have a nice weekend.
Right, take care. You too, man.
Right, cheers.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You